gesels vanoggend met Greg Talbot en ons praat begroting. Greg, welcome to GROOTplaas.
Hi, thank you, Mia. It's great to be back again.
Yes, it's awesome speaking to you. And I think just for context's sake, what has 2022 been like for the agri and livestock sector in South Africa?
Sure, 2022, you can't believe we're at the end of the year already.
Yeah.
But the beginning of the year was really challenging with a whole lot of, like you mentioned now, all the input costs really skyrocketing. And when one thinks of skyrocketing, it really was. I mean, doubling of prices of fertilizer, just the fuel prices going crazy. So Landbou was a big challenge for us this year. That was the beginning of the year. We could really feel the uncertainty in the market and farmers sort of holding back because of this uncertainty. But South African farms are just amazing. The resilience is amazing. The boermarke plan.
Absolutely.
And they've sort of turned it around. And I think the second half of the year has been much easier. But we've sort of just got used to the fact. I listened to Bruce Whitfield last night, and he was saying it's the first week that he hasn't talked about load shedding. But we're still on stage 4 load shedding, so are we just getting used to it?
Yeah.
But South Africa has got a very strong agricultural sector, like you said in the intro. Just through COVID, we saw that. So South Africans, boere they really are strong. And South Africa has grown on the Food Security Index, which is an amazing achievement, but we mustn't rest on our laurels. And we need government to support agriculture. In the fair budget, they did allocate 400 million to agriculture, but that's a reducing amount in this inflationary times. And we're getting a smaller cut of the budget every year. And I think the minister needs to. It's difficult to really focus in this time when energy is just so key and everybody's fighting for energy. And we mustn't forget about agriculture.
And that's the thing. If we look at obviously at a thing like a budget, and you said earlier that agriculture, the agricultural sector, needs more attention. So what's the message? I mean, what would you like the minister to know?
Food security, and if we just have a look at some of the stats, so food security for the more affluent people is not a problem, but it really becomes a problem for the low-income guys. And fuel levies, for instance, impact everybody across the whole economy. I mean, not only are the farmers got huge input costs when it comes to fuel to produce their crops, to produce the produce, but the logistics to get this to market is also with trucks and this is putting extra cost onto basic income, basic foods. So I think that we need more focus on. The minister really needs to think of a way that he can incentivize farmers or reduce the fuel levy for the agricultural sector.
Would you say food security is currently stable, and which plans can be announced or made to support food security? I mean, obviously, what plans should be made?
Well, just from the agri side, just infrastructure. If the money isn't coming directly to agriculture, I think we really need to focus on infrastructure, roads and our ports. But just district roads. Every farmer stays on a district road somewhere, and these district roads are falling apart. So it's really difficult for them to get to market. And then just infrastructure on our ports. Just recently, the Transnet strike. It's really tough for these farmers to get for those farmers that are exporting to get their produce out of the country. So hopefully the minister will really take this to heart, and we need our infrastructure to improve. The load shedding is a problem when it comes to crops. When farmers need to irrigate, it's really tough to work around these load shedding ideas. So
it really is. I, I just want to take a minute and focus on the Transnet strike. According to you, obviously, you've got your feet on the ground, and you speak to a lot of people. How has this strike really impacted the sector?
So it's really tough. So I've got also a family in the Eastern Cape, and they're exporting citrus. The citrus it gets to the harbour and it just stands there, and you're going to lose that product, because it just doesn't last forever. You can't just put it in a cupboard and take it out next year and sell it. That fruit is going off, so they're losing that income. So then it has to go onto a local market, so the local market gets flooded. So their income is just really been impacted, and not only is the local farmer, their markets that they are producing. So those people, whether it be in the East, in China, whether it be the EU, they go and look for other markets now, because they know that they can't rely on South Africa. So long term, it's affecting our credibility to supply, and it's really not good for our country.
I think if we can take a minute and focus on policy, how can the Minister of Finance help with policy certainty in the agricultural environment? It's a loaded question.
Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, it is a loaded question. So the minister, I don't think he's going to be able to do too much about agricultural policy in his medium-term budget, but just on, it's again getting back to the infrastructure. We really need to have a look at what he can do to improve on infrastructure, and that will help with policy. Maybe a bit where they can help is to make sure that they're putting enough funds into looking for alternative land. Policy when it comes to land issues is key, and I think the finance ministers definitely can play a big role there. I mean, if we just have a look at the number of black commercial farmers that South Africa have at the moment, there's no balance there, and we need more black commercial farmers. And what's interesting there is that there's enough land. There's definitely enough rural land. There's tribal lands, and I think the minister there can help with policy to get access to this land. They can also help with financing at Land Bank. Land Bank's mandate is to help and develop the upcoming farmers. And I think if the Minister of Finance can have support there, that will definitely have a massive impact for agriculture.
When it comes to economic growth, obviously there's got to be a certain environment that should be created by National Treasury for this economic growth. So do you still believe that more can be done to create this environment?
I definitely think so. So for us, for the sustainability just of our country, if we just look at things like joblessness, I think the minister can definitely do a lot there. He can put in a lot of effort. He can put a lot towards agriculture. So it's not just maybe money for loans, but just to invest into education, into training. I think we all know that South Africa has a huge problem when it comes to unemployment. And the agricultural sector, I think, is the best sector for people to get employment.
Absolutely.
They can be self-employed. I mean, you don't need to have a degree in engineering or a degree in accounting. You can start a little bit of a farm. You can have a vegetable patch. You can have some chickens, and you need to then get that produce to the market. So I think they can go a long way in creating self-employment, and with that, security becomes, you start to solve problems with security. Theft on farms, that I'm feeling that, and some of our customers are really feeling the pinch when it comes to stock theft. So we need to look at employing more people, and I think the agricultural sector is key in doing that.
Where do you think a specific focus should be when we look at some shortcomings in the sector for this environment to be created? Obviously, we all have our own opinions and so, but according to you, I mean, you walk with the farmers, you are so involved. So where should that extra bit of passion be put in?
Certainty. Just get the policy certainty right. This talk about land that keeps coming up is creating uncertainty. Just that and security. Just your personal safety, but more and more is just your theft on farms. It's just if we need to look at that, and this is again coming from the police side. But is the money coming through from the Department of Finance to the police, so that we've got policemen that can come out, have they got vehicles to get to the farms? So yeah, and security.
And just lastly, obviously, when we focus on the livestock industry, how are things going now, and what more there specifically do you think can be done?
Yeah, there can be there we need a lot of policy, and
well, we've got 2.5 minutes, so
there's just nothing going there. Yeah, so foot and mouth is we've just heard that the prohibition of moving of animals has been extended by another month in Gauteng, Free State, I think in Mpumalanga. So that's going to put a damper on all livestock businesses. We need to have policy security there. But I think also we just need to have a better understanding on biosecurity. Each farmer needs to understand that it's his responsibility to look after his farm and his herd. So it's going to be a global effort from everybody in the country to sort out foot and mouth.
Absolutely. Well, Greg, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And we will definitely check in with each other again. Thanks for your trouble.
Thank you so much, Mia. Have a good day.